Killer Cam friend, and we are back at you with another Madden 23 banger. And today we're going to be going over everything aggressive catch, everything you need to know about aggressive catches, how to do it consistently against press man coverage, shaded over the top man coverage, and zone coverage. There are a few different ways to do this, a few different styles. A lot of people think this is just cheese, but it actually does take quite a bit of skill, and you have to be able to read the coverage pre-snap to know exactly what you're doing. So, without further ado, we're going to hop right into this. Alright, so we are here in practice mode, and we're going to be showing you exactly how to aggressive catch against every single coverage in the game. This is super frustrating, and it's really annoying how consistent it really is in this year's game. So first we're going to show you against shaded over the top man coverage, then we're going to show you against press man coverage exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to press, and we're going to shade over the top, so we're not going to get that press animation. Outside, we're just going to put a streak on Mike Evans. The other routes on this play really don't matter at all. We're just really worried about that streak from Mike Evans. And what we're going to do is, since we know this is man coverage, you can tell pre-snap if it's man coverage based on the alignment of the cornerbacks. Unless they're base aligned or man aligned, trying to disguise their coverage, which not many people will do, you're going to be able to tell right away whether it's man or zone. So get familiar with your formations and learn how to read the defense pre-snap. It's going to help you in a ton of different ways. But for here, what we're going to do basically is we're going to wait until this cornerback turns his hips, and as soon as he turns his hips, we're going to throw a high ball, pass led, up the field, bullet pass. And we're going to click on with the wide receiver. We're going to try to cut the ball off, and we're just going to hold Y or triangle depending on what system you're on. And we're going to catch this most of the time, you're going to see here. So here we get the press animation, and with the press animation it's going to be a little bit different. I meant to shade over the top there, and I guess I didn't. We are shaded over the top here, so I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. DB turns their hips, and we cut the ball off just like that. It's really glitchy. You want to make sure that you pass lead up the field. If you don't pass lead up the field, you're going to get intercepted more often than not. Big body receivers like Mike Evans helps, but it doesn't have to necessarily be Mike Evans. It can be any receiver in MUT or in regs. It really doesn't matter. Having a high spectacular catch rating does help as well. It's just going to help you hold on to the ball more often when you get hit after you catch the ball. But this is an extremely consistent thing. You're going to see how consistent this really is. DB turns his hips. We cut it off, and we do drop it there. We are throwing it a little bit too late. So let's try this one more time. See if we can get this a couple times in a row. Here we get the press animation. With the press animation, we're going to do it a little bit different, as you can see here. But we'll get into that in just a second. I meant to shade over the top, and I keep accidentally not. So let's go ahead and see. As soon as the DB turns his hips, just like that, we're going to go ahead and try to catch that ball. Now it's important that you wait until the DB turns his hips, or else he can undercut the route, and you are in bad luck then. So we catch the ball, we hold on, and this is what a lot of people in the community are calling rocket catching, which has been a thing in past Maddens, but this year it's back and it's as good as ever. So let's see this one more time. DB turns his hips, and we get that glitchy animation. Now that's the animation you're looking for, just cutting the ball off in midair before the DB can even try to get to it. So turns his hips, and that high point animation is just super glitchy. It really helps to have Mike Evans, a 6'5" receiver, but it doesn't have to be Mike Evans necessarily. Let's go ahead and try this with Godwin here on the outside against Jalen Ramsey. And if you can do this against Jalen Ramsey, you can do this against literally anybody. So we're going to look for this fade on the outside. And Jalen Ramsey is going to play it better than anybody else is most of the time, just because Jalen Ramsey is Jalen Ramsey. So let's see if we can get this to work against Jalen Ramsey. And we do. As soon as he starts to turn his hips, we're throwing that little bullet pass high ball. It's super glitchy. It's really super annoying, extremely consistent thing that we can do this year in the game. So he turns his hips, we cut him off, he does get the knockout, but since he's Jalen Ramsey, he's going to get the knockout more often than against a regular corner or somebody you would face in Ultimate Team. Jalen Ramsey's like a 97, 98 overall in regs. And here we get the press animation. And against the press, we're going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to show you just this aggressive catch a couple more times against a regular defense. And now we see that Jalen Ramsey's lit up. If we can do this against a lit up Jalen Ramsey, we can really do this against anybody. So he turns his hips, and we catch the ball on him. I suggest that if you're in practice mode, you practice doing this against Jalen Ramsey specifically, just because he's so good. And if you can get this down pat against him, you can do it against anybody. And now we're not on a specific hash here. Throw the ball away because we got the press. We're not on a specific hash. It doesn't really matter too much against man coverage, but against zone coverage, it will make a difference. We're going to make sure we're shaded over the top. I think I keep accidentally shading outside. So let's do this one more time, and then we're going to get into press man coverage and exactly how it works against that. As he gets the knockout there, I'm just going to try this one more time, just to show you that you can do this against him fairly consistently as we aggressive catch and we're off to the races. So we can use any receiver and do this against any corner in the game, whether it be regs or Ultimate Team. Let's see exactly how this works against press. Now I'm going to put a hot routed fade on Mike Evans here on the left side of the screen. It does have a stock fade on this play, but I don't want that to construe any of the data that we have here. We want to make sure that we're doing this just how anybody else would set it up in just a regular play. So when they press, we're going to go ahead and shade underneath here. What we're going to do is we're going to use the freeform passing mechanic while highballing. If they have outside leverage, we're going to throw it towards the sideline, up and towards the sideline. And if they have inside leverage, we're going to throw it towards the middle of field and up, if that makes any sense. So you're going to wait and see what kind of release they get off the press. If they get a really good release, obviously you just lob it over their head for a touchdown. But if they get a not so clean release and they don't have much space, you're going to throw a high ball, pass lead to the sideline. If they have outside leverage, if they have inside leverage, then you're going to throw it more towards the middle of the field. We're going to see exactly what I'm talking about here. And that is the animation we're looking for. We want the animation where he just jumps right over the DB's head and high points it. It's super, super glitchy. It seems like a really risky throw, but it's really not at all. You're not going to get intercepted almost ever doing this, which is just crazy to me. We're going to try this one more time. We see that our receiver's on the outside, so we throw this toward the sideline, and that's the exact animation that we're looking for. Now, obviously, you're not going to catch it every single time, but once you get good at it, you're going to catch it very consistently. As we can see here, it's more consistent even than the regular rocket catching against the shaded over the top man coverage. Now in game, this won't be the case. The rocket catching against the shaded over the top man coverage is going to be way more effective more often than not. But here in practice mode, for whatever reason, the press coverage is not working out so well for the defense. As we see, we're catching it almost every time. Now we are free-forming this straight up the field and to the sideline, almost to the pylon. We're going to go in instant replay, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here in a second. And we're catching it almost every time. So, what we're doing is we're free-forming straight up into the sideline, almost straight to the pylon. And even though the corner has a step on him, it really doesn't matter. We box him out, and we get this glitchy catch animation. We're getting it almost every single time, as you can see with Mike Evans. And this isn't even considered a deep throw, so deep out elite on Mike Evans isn't lighting up. This is just a regular spectacular catch, which is absolutely insane. So now we've seen how to do this against man coverage. Let's hop into a cover 3 and see exactly how to do it against zone. Alright, so we are here and we are in a cover 3 shell. Still in a spread look, spreading out the defense a little bit to ensure that we get those one-on-one coverages. Against man coverage, I like to do this With fades on the field, I think fades with that little hesitation step do a lot better job of helping you get better position to ag against man coverage, but against zone coverage, I like to put streaks on the field, and you'll see exactly why. Now, this is going to be jetpacking. It's a little bit different than the rocket catching. Rocket catching against man coverage. As soon as the DB turns their hips, you're just going to fire that thing in there. Here, it's going to be a little more skillful mechanic. You're going to have to read the defense pre-snap again, but we're going to wait a little bit to throw it downfield. Not as soon as the DB turns their hips. Also, in zone coverage, the DB is going to wait a little bit longer to turn their hips. Against man coverage, it's going to be about 10 to 15 yards down the field. Every single time against zone coverage, it's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to do this to the short side of the field first. It's a little bit easier to the short side of the field. I feel like you get a little bit better angle on it. And the name of the game here is going to be pass leading it right towards the pylon, maybe even a little bit short of the pylon to about the 10-yard out of bounds mark right there, out of bounds at the 10-yard line. If you were trying to kick a punt, that's right where you'd want to put it. And we're going to pass lead right towards there. We're going to click on a little bit earlier against zone coverage. We're going to try to swerve outside and then right back inside, get that inside leverage against the cornerback, box him out, and hopefully he won't even have a chance to make a play. So we're going to see if we can get this to work here the first time. And I'm not going to lie to you, this is a little bit harder, as we did get a pretty good animation there, but we didn't get quite inside enough, and that is why I like the streaks as opposed to the fades, as we do get inside leverage right there. But you want to actually back your receiver up a little bit. You don't want to keep moving upfield when you're doing this. You want to get in position about 3 to 5 yards in front of that reticle where the ball is going, and then you're going to want to just stop and aggressive catch from there. This is going to take a little bit of practice. That's the animation we want right there. So you're going to pull back on the stick, and you're going to box the DB out. Don't even give him a chance to play the ball. Honestly, it's not super easy. As we get another catch again there. It's going to take a little bit of practice. I know it took me quite a bit of practice. I did not have this down pat at all at first. The man coverage thing, it's pretty easy, but against zone coverage, it's definitely a little bit more difficult. And that's still the animation we want. We clicked on a little bit too late. Again, you want to make sure you click on a little bit earlier than that. We're going to try to get this down to where we can catch this ball at least 1 out of every 2 times, super consistently. That way online we know this is going to be a very high percentage pass. We do not want to be throwing low percentage passes online. But the main thing here is that once you get good at this, you're never going to get picked off doing this unless they have some extra safety help over the top, another deep blue zone there, or they have somebody else manned up to your receiver. Otherwise, once you get this down, it's never going to get intercepted unless it's like a crazy tip pick. It's never going to get picked off. So here, pass lead up into the outside, we swerve, and I swerved a little bit too far inside there. We're going to try to swerve right inside the DB, and we do get the animation there, but again, I clicked on a little bit too late. I got to click on a little bit earlier, and that is super important with this catching mechanic. So there we go, we got it down. As you see, I clicked on a little bit earlier, and that gave me more of an opportunity to box the DB out with my user. And short side of the field, this is going to be a little bit easier. We get the good catching animation right there. We're going to try this wide side of the field against Jalen Ramsey. It's not going to be as easy. Wide side of the field you're going to see at all. The angle they take is going to be a little bit difficult to adjust to. They're going to play a little bit more inside leverage as well. So the ball's going to hang out in the air a little bit longer, and you're really going to have to get in front of that thing. So we're going to see if we can get it to work on the wide side of the field. And we do get it to work first time. Now, you're not going to get that animation every single time wide side of the field. It's going to be a less high percentage ball, but once you practice it enough, you'll be able to do this anywhere on the field. The reason we're doing it to the sideline right now is just to ensure that we have one-on-one coverage, but you can also do this up the middle of the field. It's just a little bit easier to do it on the sideline. Now we see that Jalen Ramsey is activated here, and if you can do this against a activated Jalen Ramsey, you can do this against literally any corner in regs or ultimate team. There's nobody better in coverage than Jalen Ramsey in regs. And he gets the knockout there. I think I threw it a little bit too late. I am clicking on a lot earlier when I throw it wide side of the field. You kind of have to. And we get the catch there. So you guys see exactly what I'm talking about. It's not really that easy of a thing to do. Against zone coverage, against man coverage, you're going to have a cakewalk. You're going to get your opponent out of man coverage very, very easy. And that's really what we want to focus on here, because it's really, really hard to beat man coverage in this game. All the man beaters, the best man beaters in the game, are inconsistent at best. As we see that we click on and we let the ball float a little bit too far. You have to have more of an accurate pass when you do this to the wide side of the field too. If it's not a perfect pass lead, then you're most likely not going to catch it. And we do get the decent animation there, but again, wide side of the field, it's a little bit harder. So we're going to do this a couple times to the short side of the field just to end this video off. This is a really, really good tool online. I know it seems super cheesy, but as we can see here, it does take quite a bit of skill, quite a bit of labbing to get this down. You're not just going to be able to go in the game online and be able to aggressive catch like this. It's going to take a lot of practice, a whole lot of practice, and that practice pays off. You know, you're going to frustrate the hell out of your opponents. You're going to make them completely rethink what they're running on defense. And you're going to have control of the pace of the game, which is really, really important in this year's Madden. That is a perfect example of jetpacking right there. Alright boys, that's going to do it for today's video. I really suggest that you all hop in the lab and learn how to do this for yourselves, because it's going to help you tremendously in online games of Madden. If you make a bad read, or if even you just need a really big first down on a third or fourth and very long in an important spot in the game, this can help you tremendously. If your opponent is playing man coverage and it's just suffocating, you can aggressive catch on them consistently. It's going to help you in so many different ways. Just become the best Madden player you can be, which is what we are aiming to do here on the channel. I'm looking to put up daily tip videos like this, as well as my other content, gameplays, ebooks, tip videos, pack openings, everything you can ask for in a Madden channel you're going to find right here. So if you're new, please hit that like button, subscribe, and make sure you're notified for all incoming Madden 23 Ultimate Team content from your boy. It's Killer Karen Friend. I'm see you guys soon. Peace.